Lisa McVeigh is a young girl working in a small fast food cafe. Despite her young age, she copes well with her duties and finds an approach to any customer. In the evening, Lisa is reluctant to return home, as she has been living with her grandmother and her man, Maris, for several years, who uses his position and visits the girl at night to take her by force. On the way, Lisa notices a car parked nearby, but doesn't pay much attention to it. In the morning, she decides to write a letter to her younger sister, as she is tired of being bullied by Dayan and Maris, who openly use the girl and take her money earned in the cafe. She dreams of a normal life, but it is impossible, as her mother is against her daughter's return and shows blatant indifference towards her. Before the next night shift, Maris reminds Lisa that he is waiting for her at home, as today is the day of the payday, showing an unhealthy interest in the girl. The man hugs her, causing disgust. After work, Lisa says goodbye to her boss and, taking the money, returns home. A car passing nearby abruptly turns around and chases her, but soon passes her by. A little later, Lisa notices an empty car in the parking lot and is immediately attacked by the driver hiding behind the van. Bobby Long drags the girl into his vehicle and threatens her with a gun. Lisa doesn't resist, as it will lead to more gruesome consequences, and allows herself to be taken advantage of. Bobby takes the girl by force, but doesn't let go as he likes her. After tying up the unfortunate Lisa, the maniac takes her to his house. The blindfold slips a little from the girl's eyes, thanks to which she looks at the interior of the car and notices the word Manum on the torpedo. Going up to the maniac's lair, the girl notices the green carpet on the steps and counts their number. She manages to get a good look at the white-skinned kidnapper, who turns out to be left-handed. Trying to save her life, Lisa voluntarily undresses, after which Bobby sends her to the bathroom and then takes her by force again. After tying the girl up again, the man puts her on the bed and continues to threaten her with a gun, reminding her of the possible consequences. Being in a difficult situation, Lisa remembers her relatives, her uncle, aunt, and younger sister. Only they truly love her and will miss her if the girl is gone. Afraid to say her real age, Lisa says her name is Carol, and she recently turned 20. In the morning, the grandmother calls the police and reports her granddaughter missing. Betty is indifferent to her daughter's disappearance and thinks there is no need to panic. The younger sister is sure that Lisa would not have run away without alerting her and asks the officer to find her. Meanwhile, Lisa remembers the day she first arrived at Diane's house. Her grandmother had warned her in advance that Maris would take the girl by force, and she took it with frightening calm. In the present tense, Bobby once again takes the girl by force. Lisa realizes that the maniac is worried about the psychological trauma and influences him to ask for forgiveness for the other women. This causes the man to trust the victim, and he unties her hands. Detective Lops begins a search for the missing girl and communicates with the owner of the cafe where she worked. At the same time, Bobby prepares a sandwich for the captive and learns from a news report that an underage girl is missing. Lisa is afraid to tell the truth and claims to be a different person. Believing the girl's words, Bobby takes her by force again. Lisa then goes to the bathroom and tries to leave her fingerprints in the bathroom, touching furniture and appliances. As she looks around, she tries to memorize every detail so that she can tell the police about it in the future. Lisa continues to exert psychological influence on the maniac and supports him. After a bad experience with women, noticing that there is a telephone in the house, Lisa tries to call the police, but Bobby notices it and threatens her with a gun. The girl tries to invoke self-pity and talks about having a sick father at home who needs care. At the same time, she recalls a dialogue with her mother when she told about being bullied by her grandmother and her boyfriend. Betty took it calmly. Moreover, she said that her daughter deserved to be treated like that. Being a prisoner of the maniac, the girl continues to plant clues, among them a piece of hair and a hairpin. When Bobby decides to take her by force, Lisa elicits his sympathy. At the same time, she recalls how once Laurie came to visit her. Maurice wanted to take advantage of the girl's younger sister, and she, realizing this, was only willing to sue his life. 26 hours after the kidnapping, Bobby decides to get rid of the captive and takes her to a wooded area. The maniac wanted to take the girl's life, but did not dare to pull the trigger, as Lisa begged to leave her unharmed. The man, ordered not to remove the bandage and wait for 5 minutes, drove a little away from the scene. He noticed Lisa running away and decided to catch her, but the girl managed to hide behind one of the parked cars. Upon returning home, the girl tells about the stopping by her grandmother, but Diane and Morris do not believe her words. The man wanted to beat Lisa, but the old lady does not allow to do this because she needs to talk to the police. Diane informs the detective about what happened, but considers the granddaughter's story a figment of a sick fantasy. Lops decides to personally talk to the underage girl and take her to the station for questioning before releasing her granddaughter. With the detective, Diane warns Lisa of the consequences should she reveal that Maris is taking her by force. At the station, the girl tells the policeman about the maniac, but there are no bruises on her body. Lisa explains that she gave herself to the kidnapper to survive, but the detective increasingly doubts her sincerity. A little later, the female officers talk to the girl to see if she is telling the truth. Lisa describes in detail the interior of the car, the number of stairs, and the interior of the apartment. The detectives do not believe that such a thing can be memorized in a stressful situation, but the girl convinces them otherwise, as she wanted to punish the criminal at any cost. Meanwhile, the detectives of the police station are working on a big case, trying to find a maniac who took the lives of 9 girls. He has no clear pattern of crimes. After all the victims are united by only one thing: the red fibers found on their bodies. A little later, to Lisa sends Sergeant Larry Pinkerton, specializing in sexual crimes. After hearing the girl's story, he learns about the black car with red interior, the word Manum on the dashboard, the number of steps and green carpet, as well as the evidence in the apartment of the maniac. The surgeon believes the girl because it is simply impossible to make up all this. Lori learns about what happened and asks her mother to bring Lisa home, but Betsy is still indifferent to her older daughter. A little later, the girl makes a portrait of the maniac and states that Mars took her by force for several years in a row, acting decisively. A surgeon arrests Lisa's grandmother's boyfriend and helps the girl pack her things. Lisa is afraid to sleep at night, but gives more and more details about the kidnapper. At some point, Larry realizes that Lisa's abuser and the serial maniac are the same person. Analyzing the girl's belongings only confirms this assumption. Realizing that Lisa is in danger, the surgeon transports her to an institution for the protection of teenagers and introduces her to the daughter of a girl of the same age. Therefore, Larry sincerely wants to help Lisa, fearing that his daughter could be in her place. 2 days later, the analysis finally confirms the fact that Lisa was a victim of a serial maniac, but fortunately was able to survive, trying to help the investigation. The girl agrees to go to the place where Bobby left her before escaping, reconstructing the route of travel from memory. Lisa reports the movements to the maniacs. Soon, one of the detectives spots a similar car and, tricking the driver, takes a photograph. During the night, Lisa wakes up because of a nightmare in which a maniac tried to strangle her. Seeing the photo taken by a policeman, she confirms that it is Bobby. The cops conduct a stakeout and arrest the maniac in his car. They find the bloodstain Lisa left behind and realize they did everything right. At the perpetrator's house, the police discover hair, a hairpin, fingerprints, and other evidence that proves his guilt. The next morning, detectives inform the girl about the successful arrest and applaud her thanks for her help in catching a dangerous maniac. A while later, Lisa contacts Lori and thanks her sister because she is the only one who believed her and influenced the police to start the investigation by throwing out a farewell letter. Lisa warmly hugs Sarge and says goodbye to him. Carol and Jim come to pick up their niece to take the girl back to their house. A couple months later, Lisa sends a letter to her mother, informing her that she has finally become happy and found a loving family. After staying with her uncle and aunt for a couple more years, the girl joined the police force and became a deputy sheriff, investigating sex crimes. She is now a happy mother and grandmother, and the sergeant remains her best friend. Bobby wasn't executed by injection until 2019, 35 years after the crimes were committed. And that's where the movie ends. You are on the channel on Recap Roman. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like to not miss new videos.